how one should make a signature which actually reflects the personality.
I can share 3 points what an effective signature should have.
It reminded me one thing. Somebody has said that handwriting is it's like a brain writing.
Each curve of yours speaks about your emotions is what I do. With the thumb over here, this is called the brain point. When you talk about typing, there is just no use of the thumb at all.
इसमें एक सवाल और आता है वो आपके सिग्नेचर को लेकर.
Signature is basically a leadership quality. It can be remolded, rewired. So how by changing every stroke, you can rewire your brain. Piece of handwriting. Towards which side is the handwriting flowing? Simply the margins. So when it's flowing towards the left side, that shows that the person is holding a lot of grudges in the past.
Let me preface this conversation. It's all about to know what you do. We talk about graphology. I am a novice. I don't know anything about graphology, but it all me when I hear this term. We'll be knowing more from you, but we start this by letting our guest, and then from there we can go on.
I am Raksha Jain, of lately a graphologist and graphoanalytical therapist. In simpler terms, a handwriting analyst. I would just like to put it in simple words. In this busy, chaotic life, wherein we all are struggling towards doing better, and the best in life, which is wherein there's no mark to it. But during the same time, how do you stay within yourself, you love yourself, and stay within the peace and harmony of what has been gifted to us, which I guess is not really, is mostly forgotten by everybody. So, in short, we look out for happiness outside, wherein it is deep within. So how do you stay within or stay around that environment, even, while you are in this day-to-day chaotic, lifestyle? So, yeah, that's what it is.
Right. So when graphology come to my mind, I always feel, okay, it is something maybe like a palm reading or maybe like some parlor game. Right? I'm a novice, of course, so I don't know anything about it. I'm just saying that how people like me who doesn't know anything perceive it, right? How do you describe what you do to someone to whom, let's say, you meet at a party and who's very skeptical about it? What do you say?
So, very well said. For any layman, graphology, the term itself is quite heavy. It's like, boss, I don't even want to know about it, but very simple. Handwriting, I am a handwriting expert. How each curve of yours speaks about your emotions is what I do. The simple question when I walk into a room or any parties, they say, but then why do I even want to know about this? How does it help me? So a lot of times people gather around me thinking that, just the way any party or any marriage or wedding function, when we see a palm reader or a horoscope reader, they just, surround. Similarly, There are a lot of times, they say that it's a new insight. काम तो किसी को, मेहनत नहीं करनी. So they simply would just give their signature and they'll say, Raksha, इसके बारे में तो कुछ बता. So I always say that अगर आप खुद पे वर्क करना चाहते हैं, if you think that you care for yourself deep within, then come to me. Otherwise, it's no point. So what will happen is I will give you a perfect analysis, like a 10 on 10. I'm so sure, like your each curve, each letter speaks so much in depth about it. In fact, let me tell you, every loop of yours has your hidden health challenges. So if you have any health challenges that must be either that you're going through or coming up, even that is seen in your handwriting. That's how deep it is. So the moment I, tell them 3 or 4 couple of points about them, there are some people who just want to, know for fun, but then someone who really even want to work on them. The other angle is they'll be like, is there any way out? So simply, I would say graphology is like a coin. One side is how your handwriting speaks about you. That's where I talk to you about your personality in depth. When I say in depth, it means like your strengths, your weaknesses, your pattern of thinking, the way you take decisions in life, the way at times you want to do things in life, but something that pulls you behind or you're not able to do enough. Why so? Why do I keep capturing into that particular, circle? So how do I come out of it? So that's what I, talk about. And when we do an advanced reading, we talk about the health because it's talking about a life. I can't be so casual and just telling them that bhai ye kuch dikh raha hai, ye aa sakta hai, wo ho sakta hai. So things like acidity, things like BP, some tooth related stuff, thyroid. In fact, let me tell you, even if they have pain as simple as even in their left knee, that is also seen in the loops. That much depth it is. And the other side of the coin is when you start turning and twisting, tweaking the letters, how that gets changed, a chemical change in your brain, and how does that rewires your brain. So basically, simply, your brain is plasticity in nature. So it can be remolded, rewired. So how by changing every stroke, you can rewire your brain. That is what, I take care of.
It reminded me one thing. Somebody has said that handwriting is it's like a brain writing, right? And like you rightly mentioned when you were speaking about how it is connected to your neurological thing. How would you explain that physical stroke on a paper, like when I'm writing something, right? Actually reveals that neurological pattern. Is there some kind of process involved into it, or is it something like that how do you get to know that it is recognize the neurological pattern when you see the handwriting?
So it's a proper science. It's a deep study that we've done. In fact, I'm a master practitioner. Simply, like as you said, how? So I would just pick up one letter, like a letter T. It has 20 different traits. The way letter T is written by someone, it shows 20 different traits. So the way a vertical line is placed, the way the horizontal bar, the place where it is been placed consistently throughout the handwriting, it reveals what the mental pattern, what is the thinking style of the person, how is the confidence of the person, what is the self-esteem of the person. So each letter is actually talking about a lot of traits, and also it is a representation of every body part.
Yeah, and that is interesting. I mean, like the way I'm writing, say T word you mentioned, the way I'm writing A. I remember when I was young, it was like I had this Hindi की teacher, and वो जब मुझसे बोलते थे कि आ और उस पे हमने अगर मूड़ी नहीं बांधी, right? ऐसे you made that letter dead, and I was like, okay, how is it possible? But now I can correlate, okay, what is the importance of that? But the science behind it, obviously, like me, many people don't understand. But then with the help of a teacher like you, who is master into it, maybe we get to know more of it. But this brings me to another question again. This question is from my side. It's like when you see a piece of handwriting on a paper for the first time.
Yeah.
Right? What is the very first red flag or the green light your eyes sees that naturally jump to?
So the moment we see a piece of handwriting, towards which side is the handwriting flowing? Simply the margins. So when it's flowing towards the left side, that shows that the person is holding a lot of grudges in the past and is not able to come out of it. So simply someone who have very less of left margins and handwriting is moving more towards the left. So like as in when you see each line, it's graduating down towards the page and you see the handwriting twisting towards the left, that makes us understand that there's something from the past that the person is literally holding. So say someone in his or her late 30s have just, had a divorce or something of that sort. And when he or she goes for, another relationship, what happens is, these kind of things are also seen in handwriting. The person is not able to come out of the past. And that's what is seen in the handwriting. So any new step that he or she has to take will always, they will reflect to their past. I didn't work well during that time. Things didn't really work with me. Should I really even take this step now? So should I even think of, getting into a relationship? So along with this, there are a lot of other letters which makes us understand it's more about the business aspect, that the person is more stuck up in the past, or relationships, or, marital issues, or in fact, a lot of health related issues is what is holding him to the past.
Yeah.
So that's what we, that's the first main, overall gist of the handwriting is that what we.
But don't you think, Raksha, this draws a lot of similarity between astrology and the graphology? Because I think, see, again, this is new for me, right? And I think this question might be many people would be asking the same question, which I'm going to ask you. In the astrology, what they see is they ask you for your DOB's time and all of it.
Yeah.
And then they will draw all those chart pattern, etc. Again, I don't understand. But that's how they go, and normal people go, right? How do we draw that parallel between this graphology and this? What's the difference in that?
Very simple in one line. Astrology is basically prediction about the future.
Okay.
Yep, as we all know. And graphology has got to do nothing with your future, nothing that we predict. It's basically analyzing the personality traits. Why do I think the way I am? The way I've been doing. What is it that is holding me back that I'm not able to take a step in life? Or what are my strengths that I should work more on? So basically, it is absolutely focusing within your deep within strengths and emotions is what, graphology is all about.
All right.
And in fact, I feel listening to this, my audience would feel that, bhai, this is so difficult, deep. But for a layman, very simple, 10 minutes of handwriting practice each day during your alpha state of mind. That's like right in the morning when you have no thoughts in the mind.
Yeah.
Practicing handwriting as simple as anything to start with, and ending the day by writing a powerful letter to yourself. How do you see yourself in future? More than enough. Nothing more than that is needed. Of course, we being graphologists, we have a lot of strokes that work towards, any health challenges that you have, or your confidence, or, why do we procrastinate in life? So a lot of particular specific things that we give. But I'm saying for a layman, as simple as these two practices is more than enough to take care of your thoughts deep within. So in fact, over the years that I've been into this practice, there's not even a single day that I do not write. In fact, even the days when I'm traveling, be it the aircraft or a train or any hotel, everybody knows that I'll be having my diary and pen in hand, and nothing but first thing. That's a prayer to me. That's a meditation to me. In fact, people who work with me, if they don't, in the initial start, they say, I don't know what's happening with me, but then I find it too meditative. I find very peaceful. So a lot of times people join yoga thinking that meditation karna, I'll get calm. But then at the end, everybody realizes that thoughts are racing. I can't even control. I can't even concentrate for that 5 minutes. But when you start writing, it is flow of emotions. So when I meet people, a lot of people tell me, in fact, women especially, they tell me, Raksha, it's easy to say that you have to vent out your emotions by saying what you're feeling when you are in conversation with your partner or your family members or your kids maybe. But there are homes wherein there's no one to listen. They don't want to listen. They just knock off. What do I do then?
Yeah.
So that's where I tell them this pen is the simplest tool to vent out your emotions, and which is so important. Recently, what I had seen, I had met a friend of mine who had got married past 10, 15 years, and they were in a joint, and a lot of things, I'm sure, as we all know, all fingers are not same, and so are the family members. Everybody's thought process is so different. So a lot of times my friend, she never used to be able to express. She was never given a chance, even though she wanted to, but nobody listened to her, be it family members or husband or wife or anybody. And over the years, as she was not able to remove things, now just a month back, she's developed a cyst in her uterus and she had to go for a removal. So I'm saying when there is emotions buried inside and there are layers formed, it would either start with simplest form of acidity or constipation, wherein we just realize that, okay, we are doing home remedies or medicines and just working on it. But until and unless it's not alarming, human psychology, a lot of people, they don't really find the need. But I have to say, why do you even want to go up to that situation when you have the simplest things, the simplest tool in your hand?
Talking about the kids today, when we see Gen Z, these are the first kind of generation who grow entirely into digital platform, right? The way we grew up in our young, we were having something to write down, but today guys are more into your mobile phone, or even if they have to type something, they have laptop, etc. Now, how do you think that the rise of typing affect mental writing?
Okay. So let me focus here on simply, as you said, there is just no use of pen and paper in today's era.
Yeah.
We all know that our hand palm has our entire body points.
Yeah.
And the thumb over here, this is called the brain point. And that's the whole reason when we hold a pen or a pencil, your brain point, the way the pointer and the thumb finger, the way we hold it, that's where automatically the brain point is getting pressed. And that's the whole reason, it's again, the neurological changes that is required essentially is happening continuously. And when you talk about typing, there is just no use of the thumb at all.
Absolutely.
So there is nowhere that this muscle is being, worked at all. So a simple difference, when we look at our ancestors, they used to do their simple day-to-day accounts, their management of money, everything by writing each day.
Yeah.
And that's how, even in their latter ages of life, latter days, they used to remember so much, because this pathway, this thumb to this entire, to your brain, this pathway was worked and worked and worked and worked. But in today's era, wherein this is not even taken care. In fact, I do work with students also, and I have IB kids coming in, and they say that, ma'am, today we were just using iPad. We didn't even get a chance to even barely write one line. So that's what puts me on a mission that, I've got to be literally, closing ties with IB schools and, what is the importance and why is it essential? At least, definitely not as the pattern of their study, but then they could literally have one of the, periodical, in each day. That's how important it is to work on this muscle.
Absolutely.
And that child of mine very sweetly says, just because I know what's the importance, I will just pick up my rough book in my break, I'll finish my tiffin and I'll do my graphology practice. And, that's it. And his friends keep asking, what are you doing? So he keeps giving them insights. Why are you supposed to hold the pen this way? What is it? The left brain and the right brain. So while I sit with my kids, I keep giving them insights, why it is important and how is it working with you. Because these days kids need logic. They can't just, accept as, we know. So, yes. So.
Absolutely. That makes sense as well. This reminds me one of the exam which I was writing these days. Long ago, when we were kids, we used to write because there was no phones except the typewriters, which we did not have access to. But with the advent of this laptops and all those computers, iPads, everything, it's almost we have forgotten all of it, how to write. And when I was writing exam, it was like a way difficult for me. Like first the hand was paining, and then I almost lost touch of writing for very long, 3 hours. So was too difficult. So processing that, again, similar thing what we used to do like a decade back or 2 decades back, it's like a nightmare. In this aspect, when you are on this mission, right, to making sure that, okay, let's start writing again. Let's do the writing again. And that's what you're emphasizing with many of your school colleagues or maybe to whomsoever you are speaking. How do you think that blend would really happen? Do you think it's possible today in this fast-paced life where people are very much used to this, using the laptops and the iPads, etc.? You want to throw some light there?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that we're going to stop using any of the gadgets. Of course, to manage our work and the way we are used to, that would happen. But along with that, simple practices of handwriting, is
Oh.
so essential, is what I have to say. So we have certain strokes with kids wherein it literally helps them in focusing, building up concentration. So when parents come to me and they say that my child, he knows the answers, but when it comes down during exam time, they're not able to pen it down, put it down in the given time frame, or probably it's processing here, but when it comes to putting it down on the paper, it doesn't really happen. It doesn't match. So there are strokes and practices which we suggest, which helps the child to, literally put down things on the paper with speed, with what, the mind is processing, how does it go? So that's how it helps. It helps them in focusing, in concentration. So
No, absolutely.
that
There are
perspective, yeah.
there are many advantages which obviously you just mentioned. But apart from it, I think it gives you a kind of relaxation as well. We as an adult, when we try penning down something with respect to your thought process, what you have done, gives you like a went out machine, went out way of doing things.
In fact, I would just like to pause here and just tell you. So, as you said, we are all so used to our way of working. So even with this, chaotic or fast-paced or whatever your schedule is, just small habit of finishing up your day with just a pen and paper, and when you just write down what were the effective things that you could do today, gives your brain a realization that I was being so productive today. So basically, a connection to self is what builds up. And even when you write a simple letter to yourself that how do you see yourself tomorrow, that gives your mind a connection. And the next day when the mind gets up, it's already ready, prepared deep within that, that's my goal. And these are the smaller, to-do list for the day. And that's how I have to, go ahead. So basically, it builds up a deep connection to your own soul is what I have to say.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times it's happening that there is so much of information that we are grabbing in, but process hi nahi ho raha hai. So we see so many videos. There is so much of motivation that, each one seeks from the videos. But when it comes to doing things, why is it not happening? Ye connect kahan chhoot raha hai?
Yeah.
So that's what this gets you.
Perfect. इसमें एक सवाल और आता है वो आपके सिग्नेचर को लेके. अगर हम बात करें तो मोस्टली जो मैंने सुना है ग्राफोलॉजी के बारे में, they almost talk mostly on the signature side.
Yeah.
I think we all, including Gen Z and including all of us as well, very brand focused these days. And obviously in graphology, this signature is the public mask. Are you seeing any sort of disconnect between how the kids write their names and the personality that is shown in their regular text? Do you find any sort of differences
between the signature and the way they write is what you're saying, right? Yeah. So firstly, I'd like to say is signature is basically just giving a gist about what handwriting is all about. वो कहते हैं ना पेन किलर लिया तो क्विक रेमेडी हो गई. So वैसे ही हमने signature पे काम किया तो you start getting the change, and that's when people feel that no, this really is something that I can connect with. And that's how when you start your daily writing practices, it gets deeper and deeper. And as you said, do you see a disconnect between the signature and the handwriting? Yes. So in fact, these days I have lot of close relatives living abroad, and as simple as the way they hold their pen, that's also so different. That's not even right. So the way their letters are formed, it's either flying in the air. There is no groundedness. There is no letter formation that's, perfectly. So that reveals a lot about the person. And in the process, when a child comes out from high school and says that I want to do my startup, even if you're talking about a scenario in India, undergrads, or, because someone coming out from a junior college would, say that I want to make a startup and think about this, that. But then when it comes about, signature is basically a leadership quality within it. Shows how, you are as a self-leader, a cheerleader to your own self, and how do you show up to the world. So the way you, design your signature, form your signature, whether it's, just the initials or whether it's just your name or it's just your surname, it makes a whole lot of difference. So there is just no connection between the signature and the handwriting.
And do you think the signature also reflects one's personality? If yes, how?
It does, but to some extent. And how I would say is when a person says that I want to make my own name and fame, a simple thing I would like to show. A person says that I want to build up my own career, make name, fame, but is not able to. And it's been a couple of years that, he or she's been working, but still not seeking, where they see themselves. And when we look at the signature style is, just writing their initial R.J. Jain. Yeah. So it's just a surname that is coming into picture, which shows that it's always going to be a family through which you're going to be known. You won't be able to make up your name because your signature doesn't even reveal your whole name.
So if I go back a little bit in our young days, like, how all of this signature thing and the handwriting thing comes at the first place, right? And what I'm talking that when we were young kids and even kids of today, it's like our parents taught us, or maybe our teachers taught us that what are the ways of writing. They even don't understand, or they never understood what's the importance of it. All they were cared that your handwriting should be beautiful, right? It should everyone should able to read that. That's all they wanted to care about. Even of course the nuances of it, like yourself, which we are dissecting right now, wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
Like if I take my example, I did not know how to make a sign. I copied my father's sign, honestly.
Yeah.
He was writing some B something and then do all of it, do all the signature, and then I have chosen my initials and then do the rest of the things. Where I'm coming from is like how one should make a signature which actually reflects the personality. Now back then we did not know about it. Okay, this is the thing is happening really, but today we are getting to know that okay, this is a significant part of life that might reflect your personality, that might correlate with your upcoming future success as well. What do you suggest for the people today who are actually wanting
Just
to
starting out?
be a little more better when they do a signature or something like that, right? So how do they inculcate this practice in themselves, and who will teach them? I think most of us and even the parents as well, or the teachers as well, are not aware of it. So how do they get this thing right from the beginning so that things would be good for them?
So when you talk about beginning, that's the whole point, because back then it was just more about how the entire presentation of the handwriting looks, not how each letter should be formed. I can share 3 points what an effective signature should have. A is a signature should always have a complete name and the surname. Second, a signature should always be in an upward direction, a 45-degree angle. And the initial of the signature of the name should always be bigger than the rest of the name.
Okay, right.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Now, we hear a lot about the anxiety epidemic, right? Does anxiety have a specific look on the paper? Can you actually see a panic attack or a chronic stress in the loop or a margin?
Not in the margin, but the way the letters are formed. Yes, in fact, the moment we see that, we literally tell them that there is something that you are carrying since a very long time, and if we don't treat this, then this can be cancerous. In the sense, it's not just like one thing, but then there are a lot of things, a lot of aspects collectively that we see, and then we, speak with so much of confidence that you literally need to take that. Need to.
When it comes to figuring out anxiety or the panic, right? You said that you're able to pick it up. In that scenario, that person is actually going through something which you picked up out of his handwriting or signature.
Yeah.
Right?
No. So we literally see that in the handwriting, and that's when we, get into a conversation which is deeper, and that's when, they come out saying that they literally.
Any example you have? Recently came across?
So, yeah, the most obvious thing that we see that there is anxiety in a person is when you see the paper on the whole, the letters are literally falling down. You'll see a downward slope. The way I said a signature should have an upward stroke, 45-degree angle that shows progression. Similarly, people who having depressive anxiety issues, you see their handwriting falling down as in not so much into gradation, but you will literally see them when we ask them to write them on blank pages. You can literally see the entire sample on whole that the handwriting is falling down. So that's the biggest thing. And there are a lot of other aspects that we see, which gives us a surety. In fact, for that reason, I have worked with a person who had depressive issues for like 2 long years. She did a lot of treatments, psychiatric treatments. She met a lot of therapists. Not that it didn't work during that time. Those things were working, but then she was tired of taking medicines, and it was silently, her brain she had become very, her energy levels, the way she used to react to things, or she had become over-dependent. So all these were symptoms that we could understand that she's going through. And when she came to me, she just said, in the sense, her parents said that we've tried each and everything. We wouldn't mind if you were so sure, and if you think that this can help her, we would literally want to try, because as a layman, anybody says that handwriting se kya hi ho jayega. But then she came to me. I'll just, brief it very quickly. She came to me, she wrote for 2 months, and whenever we used to, I usually take follow-up sessions every 10 days, and whenever we used to speak, she used to tell me, why are you giving me so much of info? I can't just take it, just leave me. But gradually, as in when we advanced, we did a lot of specific strokes, specific letters. 4 months happened. She started, showing up differently, behaving differently to things coming up to her, people around. And that's when few of her relatives came in and said that, I guess we see change. And as in when 6 months passed, 7 months passed, there was literally a change, and she was almost 60 to 70% out of it, to the extent that when we started conversing, she enjoyed, she wanted to know more how, in the sense that time, initially somewhere when she started that I don't know what are you doing with me, but I'm just doing as you're saying, and to the place where we finished and she said that, can you please tell me what else do I do? I'm literally enjoying this become a part of my routine. And later on, after 7 months, she realized that what was I doing for 2 years? I've been a junior college teacher for past 16 years and I've just wasted my life. I want to again open up my resumes and go back. So, that kind of self-confidence came in after, doing graphotherapy.
So did she become your student?
Oh, yes, she was with me for 6 to 7 months. In fact, she's also, with me even now. Because it's become a part of her routine. As I told you, it's not about doing something. It's now more that it's a connection to my soul. It's become, So just the way it's just that we as humans think that fitness is all about physical fitness. Jogging kar diya, I've taken, the outer world can perceive. And somewhere, my resistance and all. So physical fitness is what we understand. But then everything processes from here. So iski kaun dekhega bhai? Graphology is what helps.
I think that's the very reason I have started this podcast channel. To specifically talk something which is pretty different from the regular conversation. I think a sound mind resides in a sound body. So if you're physically fit, your brain will process it more easily and can embrace a lot of things with respect to your anxiety and other things. But still, there are nuances, especially these days. People are getting into mental stress and anxiety and all of those. So, but thanks to you guys that you just figure that out by just seeing the handwriting, and this is quite interesting. I've got a follow-up question in regards to this context itself. I call it as a speed trap. Yeah. And what do I mean here? That today, everything we talk about and the speed is something which is very common. For example, TikTok, fashion, instant replies, everything. And kids of today's world are into this trap. Now the question is, what I mean to say, in this fast-paced life wherein everything is very quick,
Yeah.
you don't have patience. Like if two people are in a relationship and person not able to respond to you, there is an instant breakup because there wasn't an instant response, right? Do you see this kind of stuff when you see the handwriting, or can you figure it out?
I guess for that reason, in today's world, because of the mobiles in hand, all of us, for that reason.
Exactly my point. This is a big issue if I see it through my lenses. Because of this fast-paced thing, people are becoming too restless. They don't have value of the very relationship for which they've been craving for a long time. They break it up without even thinking. And this trend is becoming more predominant in this era. Of course, we are also the victim of it. When you see the handwriting, do you also predict, or would you be able to predict that, okay, because he is so restless, because he is not patient, so that could be one of the reasons of his mental health problem?
So not specifically like patience, but then there are a lot of different traits that we see, which makes us understand that this person is, always in a rush.
And what do we do for that? What is the solution of it, if you were to suggest that?
So we have like around 30 to 40 different strokes, not just letters. Of course, we do give letter practices, but along with that, there are 30 to 40 different strokes which works on various emotions. So there is a combination of letters and strokes that we give. Yeah, and in fact, my community, I always, my community is always been fed by me with an everyday audio note, which, in which we would every day pick up one topic and talk about, say like, how do you live with intention? So we would just speak about it for, say, around 4 to 5 minutes. And what do I do as a layman today to get this into my lifestyles, in which I would just suggest them 2 to 3 different tasks that they could do today. And that's how they get into practice.
Okay.
So when you talk about fast pace, so I talk a lot about, how do you joy spot? Which are the pockets in the day wherein, you can spot joy? How do you live with intention? What is the power of pausing? So these are the kind of topics which, I keep feeding them. And how can you get that into practice along with writing? So It's like a total package. It's like a holistic development. So
it's not only the handwriting wherein you focus, but it's all about the entire gamut.
Yeah. So like, if you say that I don't have patience, but then how do I build it up? So there are practices, that I keep giving in the routine life. How do we practice that? What is that one pause that, we can take before reacting? When someone has to say something, our mind is already processing that, what do I want to, throw back?
Yeah.
But can
Absolutely.
we take that pause and think and then respond to what is to be said? So these kind of practices is, lots that, I also talk to my community and along with the handwriting. So handwriting basically is just a tool to connect to yourself. And that's where, they start loving themselves. So I'm also a self-love coach along as a graphotherapist. So once they, yes. So once they get connected, then how different practices during the daytime changes, our entire perspective on the whole.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just shifting a gear from kids to the professional.
Yeah.
And it's like I often see and often hear a lot of corporate friends. I'm sure you must also be having.
Yeah.
We see that whosoever the corporate going people, and if they happen to listen this, what are the signs, in their handwriting, which they have to watch, that they are reaching a break point before they even realize it? I mean, it's just kind of forecasting now. If they were to look at their own handwriting and see, if you were to give one quick tip to those people, maybe that can be helpful for them and save from chaos.
So, one most important thing, when you are writing, a lot of times I see samples wherein the lines that whatever is written is not even on the baseline. It's literally between the two lines. It's flying in the air. That shows how grounded are you in life. So that's the simplest tip that, a person can see to understand how grounded he or she is in life.
So there are two lines. Let's say there are a piece of paper. Most of the corporate people having a plain paper. They don't have like line sheet, right?
Okay.
How do they, make sure that they are not doing something wrong while writing?
So like even the spacing between each word or spacing between each line also clearly makes you understand that, whether it's someone, a handwriting that's flying in the air or it's well grounded. So the person is well grounded or just having, big thoughts and big dreams, but actually in life is not doing enough.
Right.
अगर आपने सोचा है तो 100% पहुंच हर कोई सकता है, but there are steps. By CD chalna padega, which all of us know. So handwriting does show that, how grounded that person is and how logically he thinks.
Right. Might be a useful tip for them. Okay. Let me ask you this. People normally take graphology as a hobby. Whosoever, at least what I know. But I think you have made it as a career.
Yes.
So if I may ask, where does the money come from making this as a career? If somebody wants to get into the graphologist, being a graphologist, right? And everybody wants to do something for their living and somebody chooses this as a career, how do they make sure that they are making decent and enough money, and what are the ways possibly which they can follow and make it as a career? Like, corporate worlds, like your engineers or like many other people does it, right? So graphologist also make sure so that this would attract people to make this, profession as a career.
Got it.
Not as a hobby.
Got it. Got your question. Yeah.
So what do you think? How do they get
first and the
into
most
it,
important
basically,
thing
and make a decent money for their living?
So first and the most important thing that I want to throw light on, as we all say, chaotic world, digitalized era, fast-paced life. In the coming years, there is going to be, a lot of demand wherein people are going to have, literally issues. In fact, it's already started, in a big way, issues with mental well-being.
Yeah.
So the demand is going to be literally like so much, and people to work on it or help them with. So say a graphologist, the community is like so tiny. So even if I have to say, I'll say that I alone can't do. I need to build up a team. I literally, whomever I approach, I say, please come with me, start learning and start helping. If this has transformed your life, why can't we transform 10 another?
So you mean forming the community and then teaching them. So teaching could be one way of making the living.
Teaching could be one way. In fact, there are multiple ways. Let me tell you, when you talk about corporate, from the HR, we get so many resumes in which, we can literally analyze and tell them that this is a personality who's got leadership quality. This is a personality who could be good at sales. This is a person who could handle a big group. So we help them filter the resumes.
Right.
In terms of HR. And when it comes to second, I said teaching the same to masses. Another thing could be, reaching out to schools, catering to the teachers. So if you have taught the roots, automatically the entire school, all the kids would come up in the perfect given manner. So there are a whole lot of avenues. Yeah,
I could also see one use case, say in the forensic work. There may be one of the use case of graphologist being a graphologist.
Yes. Not predominantly, but then yes, it does help.
Yeah. And at least what I saw in the corporate world, you rightly mentioned corporate HR. Yes, of course, this is one one area where they can actually jump into and think of having a graphologist. I don't see, or in fact, I never have seen any such position in today's corporate world. Is it something which is available in the platform like Naukri.com or somewhere else? Or how do we navigate through it?
So, there are a lot of agencies who have multiple things in which graphologist is also a sector that's available, and that's where they can approach them.
It is there, it's just not so widely open.
Or probably the awareness is not that much.
And are they paid good for like an engineer, how they get paid?
No, not like an engineer, of course, but decent enough. Yeah.
You mentioned that this can be a low stress career as well, because the demand is not that much. Of course, there are the nuances which each individual need to take care of it. How do you balance being an emotional detective, if I might say this, for others without taking their stress home with you?
So you said, how do you
So how do
carry
you
the
balance being an emotional detective?
mind?
Because you get to know, if somebody writes something, you get to know that he is emotionally not balanced, he is not, he's going through anxiety or something like that. How do you make sure that you're not getting affected out of it? Because sometimes it's like overwhelming for you, maybe, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And likewise for many other profession as well. When we talk about psychologists or the mental health specialist, these people see all the folks who are coming to them, they make sure that there are certain norms and they follow that norms. And when they get out of that setting, it's completely out of their mind. Being in the graphologist field, do you think there are also some set of norms so that it won't hamper your own personal well-being or the mental health for that matter?
So norms, not really as such, but yeah, practicing the therapy itself, the writing therapy is what we do. And as we always say, like a doctor, the moment you are, in this closed room with someone, that's where you leave everything and go. And,
Right.
the same therapies, that we do. Like I, being a graphologist, I write each and every single day, my first practice of the day, and, it ends with the same.
No, but I think, this is my personal observation, which I have seen. Many people who are into the sensitive things, like, treating the anxiety, treating depression, like yourself, that you also get to know that if somebody is suffering from some disease, being an human, right? We are having that emotional trait anyways, and we easily get moved on. So while we are helping other people to get out of certain things, most of the time I found that people got so much attached that they themselves feel bad, and sometimes they start suffering out of it, right? So yoga is one thing that, like you said, therapy is one thing which you do for yourself, other thing. But do you see any hacks which a person can apply while helping others and his own mental health would not impact a lot? Any quick hack?
I get that, but then the writing therapies is simply what we, practice.
Okay. And this would help in mitigating all of those stuff.
Yeah, almost like in the sense, it's been so many years. I don't see, anything like the sort.
You become pro.
No, it's not that. But then, as you said, as a human,
Yeah. So
this itself helps.
If a young kid want to learn being a graphologist, what are the ladder he need to follow to reach to your level? And in how many years do you see it requires that?
So we've got something called as weekend sessions. So there are around 4 to 5 levels that are there. There's something called as the health course, how do we dig in deep regarding the health aspects. There's something called as the basic personality traits. This way there are 4 to 5 different levels, and this can be done in 6 months span.
6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we do something real right now for the audience? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Now, I'm gonna write something and I'll show you on the camera.
Okay.
You need to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind about the current state of mind. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. As long as you are comfortable, I disclosing, about you.
No worries. I want to be vulnerable. Don't want to be perfectionist. I'm just writing something.
For us, the strokes are more important, not what you write. So yes, you may write just anything you wish to.
Okay. Let me try that. I'm going to show you this.
Okay. What I understand is what you think and what the way it has to process doesn't have much of connection.
Okay.
I don't see your letters connected. which gives us an understanding that, the connection of thoughts and the way it has to, come up in real life, or the way it has to come up, the way you're thinking doesn't really happen. So simply, wherein I gave you the example of a child who thinks, I know this answer, this is what it is, but then when it comes on, putting it on the paper, it is not happening. It is not fully sinking in. So that's the first thing that I see. Second, I see you're a person who's got temper issues. Yeah.
All right.
And someone, who would always try and get done things what you feel the way it is. So like a little rigid.
Perfection kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's your way of looking at perfection. But perfection, yeah, your level of perfection would be different than what my level is. So from my lens, that's my,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it is certainly true, but not exactly, but that's okay. I think because of camera, you might have not seen much of it, but I'm sure
and also just 3 words,
doesn't reflect much.
Yeah. How can I?
No, it's great. At least I get something to work on. So I will do that. Thank you for it. Okay, one last thing which I want to ask. If people could change just one thing about how they write today to improve their mental health tomorrow,
Okay.
what it would be?
All right. So the one key takeaway could be not writing very sharp. A lot of times when we see, there are a lot of sharp edges that you see. That's one thing. And another important thing, handwriting should always have clear-cut 3 zones. The upper zone letters like letter T, D, H, those loops should be seen properly, perfectly, because that talks about all your physiological beliefs. The middle zone, the letter N, O, those letters, and the lower zones by the loop that you form in Y, J, G. All the 3 zones should be clearly seen in a letter. That's the biggest thing that a person should keep in mind.
And it help improving their mental health, like in the question which I have mentioned.
Yes, of course. In fact, when we work with young kids, that's the first thing that we see. That are the 3 zones prominent? If not, we have to first work on the 3 zones. Because
Great.
The lower zone talks about, how physically active a person could be. And
Absolutely.
The upper zones talk about all your belief system, your physiological beliefs, psychological beliefs. It's all about that. So all the 3 zones, absolutely important. How you form then the letter is secondary part. But then this is the most important.
I think our audience certainly try to get in touch with you, please, for this.
Anytime.
I'm anyways, mention all your handles in the description. I enjoyed and really learned a lot of things. Thank God I haven't shown you full handwriting. This was a wonderful conversation and I really appreciate your time. Thank you, Raksha.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
We'll talk something else as well.
Surely.
Now,
Yes.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.